Good morning, everyone. My name is Hal Pepper, and I'm with the Center for Profitable Agriculture. Thank you for joining us today for the 7 Habits for Effective Farmers webinar series on goal setting and marketing. We're grateful to have my coworker, Megan Lefevue from our center, joining us as today's instructor. We greatly appreciate the support provided by the USDA National Institute of Food and Agriculture and the Southern Risk Management Education Center to help make this series possible. To help report the impact of this webinar to these agencies, I will ask you to complete a very brief online evaluation of the session at the end. The link to the evaluation was included in the email with the link to join the session, and I'll post it in the chat box for you at the end of the session. Even if you've completed this evaluation after a previous session, we need you to complete this evaluation each time after each webinar. A few housekeeping items. Please keep your microphones on mute and your video off during the session. And if you'll now locate the chat box, please type your name and location into the box to help me record attendance. You can use the chat box anytime during the session to submit a question. I'll be monitoring the chat box during the presentation and periodically updating Megan with your questions or comments. I'm recording the session, and we plan to post it online in the event you'd like to view it again or share it with someone else. And now, Megan, if you could change to that second slide. We know that people with written goals are significantly more successful than people without. And I want to encourage you to jot some goals down about how you can use this information during the session. So if there's no questions at this time, let's dive into goal setting and marketing.
Thank you, Hal. Sorry, my button wouldn't work to unmute. So hopefully you can hear me now, and we are ready to go. We are going to begin by talking about goal setting and then move into marketing. Goal setting is very important, and I'm sure you have heard that before. I'm trying to get this to change slides for me here. Technology is wonderful when it works. There we go. Maybe it will work now. So we are going to dive into goal setting. Hal mentioned that we are more successful when we set goals, and we have some statistics to show just how much more successful we are when we set goals. These things were really interesting to me and kind of startling to me when I first found these. So 83% of people are walking around with no goals whatsoever. We're just kind of putting one foot in front of the other and seeing where life takes us, I guess. And I can understand that more with a life with a toddler and an infant. Some days we're just trying to make it through and move on. So, but the 14% of us that do have goals in our heads are 10 times more successful than those people who are going around with no goals whatsoever. So just having goals in our heads can be beneficial to us and help us to be more successful. Only 3% of us actually write down our goals. And those 3% of us that do that are 30 times more successful on average than people who have no goals whatsoever. So I hope that you will become one of those people with written goals. That one of my goals is to develop more written goals over time. And I have also read that people with written goals make 9 times more money than people without goals. So we want to be in that category as well. When we write goals or develop goals, we want them to be SMART. We want them to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. What I mean by that is the goal that you write should answer these questions. It should be specific. What will you specifically accomplish by reaching this goal? or through this goal. The goal should be measurable. How will you know when you have reached the goal? It should be attainable. Is this goal attainable with the resources that you have? Is it relevant? Does this goal positively impact your mission and align with your values? And is it time-based? When will you achieve this goal? So I have a couple of examples here. The first one is actually a goal that I have written down and placed on my desk here. I am really bad about not drinking enough water. And so for my health, one of my goals is that I will drink at least 30 ounces of water before lunch and 30 ounces of water after lunch each day. So it's very specific to drinking water. It's measurable. 30 ounces before lunch, 30 ounces after lunch. It should be attainable. I should be able to do that at least. It is relevant because it's important for my health, and time-based, it actually gives me kind of two times in there, once before lunch and once after lunch every day. So that is just an example of a SMART goal on a personal level. Now, if we were looking at a SMART goal on a business level, we might say that by October 31st, my sales revenue from pumpkins will increase by 20% over last year's sale. So again, it's specific. I'm looking at my pumpkin sales. It's measurable because I can compare sales from last year to this year's. Hopefully it's attainable if I have the pumpkin production and I accomplish some tasks to maybe market those better or increase prices or do some other things marketing wise. It's relevant to my business and it's important to increase my sales if possible, and time-based because we're doing it by the end of October of 2019. So we want to make sure we get all of those pieces into our goals so that they are SMART. I will send a link to how we have a goal setting worksheet on our website that has some of the information about SMART goals on the front, and then on the back just gives you some places to write. And if that would be helpful to you or someone on your team, we'll provide a link on the webinar page on the Center for Profitable Agriculture website with the recording of this session that you can click on to use that worksheet if it would be helpful. So we just covered goal setting very briefly. We're going to spend the bulk of our time today talking about marketing. Sometimes this is not the most fun thing for farmers. Sometimes our farmers are more interested in the production side of things, and that's where our passion and heart lies and where we want to spend most of our time. But the marketing piece is really important. Unless you just want a really nice hobby, we've oftentimes got to make some sales in order to support our farming habit. So if I plant these seeds, will they grow? We'll think about marketing in a little bit different way here. I guess the answer is it depends, right? What kind of seeds are they? How have they been stored? How old are they? Where will you plant them and what kind of soil conditions or sun or shade? What season will you plant them? What's the fertility of the soil? How much water will they get? Not enough, too much, enough sunlight? Will birds eat them up before they have a chance to sprout and grow? All sorts of things go into determining whether or not these seeds will grow. And that's the same with any sort of product or business that you launch. A lot of times people will tell me, well, I have this amazing product and it is just going to fly off the shelves, and I'm not even going to have to think about the marketing product part of it. But if we build something, if we grow it, produce it, or offer it, will they come and buy it? Well, that depends too. And will we be profitable in doing that? It really does depend. What are you offering? Where are you offering it to? What kind of service are you providing along with it? How many people are interested in the product? What are they willing to pay for that product? How much does it cost you to produce that product? How much of that product will they buy? So there are a lot of things that come into play to determine if you build it, will they come? And if they come or not, will you be profitable? We have several reasons that businesses or even products tend to fail in the marketplace, and I think you're talking about many of these in this webinar series. We're talking about one of them specifically today, but we can classify them into the 3 M's. The first is related to money, having the capital and cash flow to start up and operate a business. You've got to have some money to get started and to make things run. And then as you generate sales, more money will come into the business. But you've got to be able to cover that startup and operating as you go along. Management, having the skills and experience to manage all the aspects of a business, from the production to maybe processing, regulations, labeling, distribution, customer service. All the aspects of a business can be a little bit overwhelming, and so being able to juggle all of those things is really important, and not everybody can do that. The third reason that businesses often fail is related to marketing, and sometimes people either think that the product's going to sell itself so they don't need to do much marketing, or they go and do some marketing without really developing a marketing plan and figuring out who their target audience is. So being able to identify who the people are that are going to buy this product and pay you what you need for it, and then communicating them is really, really important and help to make your business successful. There is a 4th M that we have found to be important to the success of a business, and that is magic. And that's just having the passion, the energy, and the drive to keep going when an obstacle comes up, or to make the decision not to keep going if that's the thing that you need to do. But just keep working as hard as you need to make your business survive. Sometimes that means going without added labor and doing things yourself, especially while you're getting a startup. So let's focus on that M of marketing and how we can use marketing to help increase the potential for success of our business. And what we really need to do is to develop a marketing plan. A marketing plan is kind of like a roadmap for our business. It helps us figure out where we are in relation to the rest of the marketplace that's out there. It helps us to figure out where the threats are or challenges in the marketplace are that we need to navigate around or avoid. It helps us to set some goals, to identify our target audience, those people that we want to reach, to know who they are and where they are and what information they need from us, and to develop strategies on how we're going to reach those people with our marketing messages and entice them to buy our products. Our marketing plan also helps us to monitor and evaluate our marketing efforts as we go along to make sure if an obstacle pops up in our way that we know it's there, and then we can find another way around that to reach our goals. So where do we start when developing a marketing plan, or even analyzing a business idea? The number one thing is to really take a hard look in the mirror at yourself and assess your resources, your mission, and your goals, and develop your goals. What is it that you want to accomplish? What do you have available to you as far as time, maybe skills that you have and other people on your team have available? The mission of really what you want to accomplish and how you want to accomplish that with some goals. So take a hard look in the mirror. And then we want to take off that producer hat and put on our consumer glasses and really take it on a customer state of mind to look at our product and business and how we can speak well to the customers and entice them to purchase our products. So marketing is really all about understanding who our target customers are, that they're in the middle of our picture there, and that is they are at the core of our marketing plan. And then we develop strategies to reach them. So those strategies include the product itself, the characteristics of the product. It includes the positioning, the image that you want to portray to consumers about your product. The price is related to the willingness to pay to our consumers, as well as some other factors. Place is where we're going to make that product available for sale, how we're going to promote it, and also the people on that graphic relates to what kind of services are we going to offer, and how are we going to meet our customer needs there as well. So marketing is all about understanding target customers and developing strategies to reach them. And ideally, we want to take a market-driven approach. So sometimes people say, I have the best recipe for a certain sauce or salsa, and I'm going to go out and market that. Sometimes instead of taking that approach, it's helpful to go out and say, what is missing in the marketplace that I have the resources to be able to develop and market? So if I am growing grapes, I might want to make grape jelly, but is there a flood of grape jelly on the market already, or is there really not a good demand for grape jelly? Maybe there's something else I need to do with those grapes. Maybe make some sort of barbecue sauce or grape juice, or some other item than what I had originally thought. So take a market-driven approach. By doing this, we want to determine, is there a need or want in the marketplace that your business can fulfill? So what and how much of a product is needed or desired out there in the marketplace? And really, what is valued about it? Is there a specific characteristic that's needed that you can provide? And also, we need to take a look at what kind of competition exists out there to make sure that there is some market share available for the product that we plan to offer. So how do we go about doing this? If you have a customer base already, or access to customers out there who are likely to purchase your product, it's really important to get some feedback from them. Listen to them, and ask them questions, either through conversations at the farmer's market stand, or calling a few key customers on the phone, or inviting them in for coffee and a chat. You can check out some research that's related to products and services that may be available from universities or government entities or private entities as well, and read those industry studies. Oftentimes there are some organizations, either locally or at the state or national level, that might have some networking opportunities with other similar business or tourism organizations, and it's always great to talk with other business owners in the area of the type of product that you're interested in producing, or in the market that you're looking to fill. So you can research your target market and really try to find out who those target consumers might be by looking at different data, primary data and secondary data. We might look for facts, figures, reports, or for information via observation. Secondary data is usually what we use first, because it's created and is discovered by somebody else, but can still be very useful to you. It's not as costly in time or money to than producing your own new information. And sometimes it's already summarized and the analysis is done for you, so it's easier to pull out the information you need. Be sure, though, to rely on credible sources. I was researching something the other day online, and I think it pulled up a study from 1982 Well, that information is probably outdated already, and we need to look for something more current. And also, we need to be careful about who produced the study to make sure that they aren't biased in any way when they produce the information. Some examples of secondary sources might be the Census of Agriculture, the U.S. Population Census, university studies, or food sites or trade publications. Primary data is research that's conducted and analyzed by you. It can be really customized for you. The main methods might be personal observation or interaction, perhaps at the farmer's market or the grocery store, just watching people or talking with people there. Doing a formal survey or a focus group as well might be ways that you can collect primary data. So some examples of different data collection methods where you can learn more about your target customers might be this sample telephone survey of potential customers for a local farmers market that's in one of our publications. So you could develop a form and select a list of consumers to call to gather some information from folks in your area. If you're interested in marketing to chefs or foodies who may be following the trends in local restaurants, as an example, the National Restaurant Association conducts a survey of chefs every year to figure out what may be hot in the culinary world for that year. So for 2019, these come out in January or February of each year. For 2019, these are the top trends. The first two are new to the list and interesting are cannabis, CBD infused drinks and food, which could have some impact on local products. You might notice number 6 is hyperlocal, where the restaurant itself may be producing a garden or brewing beer or making house-made ice cream, for example. So those things are hyperlocal. Of course, if you have a dinner on the farm-to-table dinner, you can't get more hyperlocal than that. New cuts of meat, veggie-centric, vegetable-forward cuisine, fresh produce being the star of the dish. That certainly links back to local foods and something that we can talk to chefs about and how our products could fit that for them. And also craft, artisan, or locally produced spirits. Some of our folks are adding value to products and producing spirits. So just knowing what the trends are in restaurants, when you're talking to chef to market your products, you can talk about how your products may relate to trends that they are seeing or using in their restaurant. Here are some examples of industry studies that have been developed by the University of Tennessee. Other universities also produce some studies, but we try to do some industry studies here as well. For example, this is a feasibility of a federally inspected custom livestock processing facility in Tennessee and a study on the growth prospects for the Tennessee wine industry. So just some examples there. We often use the Pick Tennessee Products website to market local products. And that's a great way to use it. And we'll talk about that later in promotion. But another way we can use it is to help learn about our competition. And so you can go on the Pick Tennessee Products website and take a look at who is producing and marketing products to consumers. Are there any holes that you can fill that aren't being filled there? If you have a product idea or have identified something with a need in the marketplace, you can look to see who else, if anyone, is offering that product and learn about them there. Our second step in taking a market-driven approach is to identify the target market of our product and really develop a clear picture of who those people are. and learn about what they value about that product. So who are those people? How do they think? What do they value? And that will give us insight in how we can communicate and reach their needs in a later step. So that target market is a portion of the population out there that meets these 3 criteria. They have a need or a want that your business can fulfill. They are willing to purchase your product, and they are able to purchase the product at a price that will meet your goals and cover your costs. These are the folks who are your first and best customer. Sorry to tell you, not everyone out there is going to need or want your products. Not everybody is willing to purchase it, and not everybody's able to purchase it. So we want to focus only on that portion of the population that meets these tests, and forget about everybody else, because you don't have the time or the marketing budget to worry about marketing to everybody on the planet. We have different target markets for different products. So on the screen now, I've got several different products. We have fall fun tours, we have a haunted woods, we have a local winery, and we have fresh from the farm strawberries. So we might have different target markets for these folks. So the fall fun field trips, our target market would be school teachers who are making the decisions on where those field trips will be taken. Or if it's fall fun on the weekends for the families, then it's the family and the moms and dads who are making, or grandparents that are making the decisions on where they're going to go for that fall fun on the weekend. If we're going to that winery, that might be that a location for a wedding. If we're looking at haunted woods, that might be a group of teenagers or young adults that are out for some fun in the fall. And if we're looking at pick your own strawberries, that might be a family looking for an outing to go and pick their own strawberries, or somebody looking to take them home and bake or make jam out of them. So different products have different target audiences. For the product that we're looking at developing or service, we want to really try to dig in and create as clear a picture of our target audience as we can. So are they within a certain age range or a certain gender? Do they live or work within a certain geographic location? Do they have a certain annual income or marriage or family status? Are they of a certain ethnicity or education level? Also, we want to dig into what we call psychographics or shopping type behavior, and how they think. What do they really value? Do they value convenience, or do they value experiences, for example? How often do they shop? Where do they shop? What is it about products that they value that they use their dollars to vote with? And how do they make decisions? And what information do they need, and where do they get that information in order to make purchasing decisions? So different target markets have different values. That school teacher's values is going to be quite a bit different maybe than the teenagers, young adults values, as they're looking for different products to purchase. So we really need to take on that customer state of mind and research our customer values related to the benefit that the customers want to achieve by purchasing our product or service, the cost that they're willing to pay for a product that we're offering, the convenience that they need. Do they need you to deliver their product to the door, or are they willing to drive 30 minutes to your farm to purchase your product because they value the experience and that contact at the farm? And how do they communicate? Are they on the web? Are they on social media? Are they reading certain publications? How are they learning information, and where are they seeking that information? So how do we learn about these values? Well, we put on those listening ears again and listen to your customers and potential customers. Ask them, how did you learn about me, or how do you learn about local products that you want to produce? Do some of that research again. Some of those industry studies will have information online as well for that. So some examples. There are some tools out there that you can plug in an address and a mile radius around, and it will give you information on the population in that area. So it might give you some demographic data related to how many people by ethnicity, by age, what their income is, and all sorts of data. So you could pick out and try to get an idea of how many people are within your target audience within a certain area. There's quite a bit of information about consumers' perception of local products out there. Consumers perceive that local producers and local products are trustworthy and transparent, that you're telling them the truth and nothing but the truth about how your product is raised and produced, that local products are unique and authentic, that they taste good and are nutritious. And by supporting local farms, by purchasing these products, they're supporting small farms and supporting the community, and they are being environmentally friendly by purchasing these products. So when we can use this information when we're talking to consumers, if we know these things or one or two of these things are really important to consumers and they use that information to help them decide what to purchase, we can make sure and talk to them about these topics and how we meet those needs. Locally grown is one of the cues that consumers use to determine higher quality foods. So we need to, one, make sure that our products are really high quality and they're consistently high quality, and make sure that we can show producers that. Also, younger people, the millennials are also buying a lot of local products, and sometimes we might not think of that age group. Some of the market studies, again, that may provide us some insight into our consumer values. Just as an example, we have studies on marketing locally raised beef, information that we learn from beef producer focus groups, and results of a consumer survey that we conducted. And this information could be used in developing a marketing plan and understanding customers for local beef, just as an example. Social media can also give us quite a bit of information. For example, a lot of communities may have a iHeart a Facebook page. So I'm a member of the iHeart Spring Hill Facebook page and the Muletown Moms Facebook page in Columbia. And it's a great place for me to just watch the interaction on that page. What are these people asking for? And what are other people giving in reply? So sometimes I'll see people ask, for example, where is a place that I can take my family to pick apples? We're from Michigan and we used to do this all the time. Is there a place to do that here? And then other people will respond in and say, well, this farm is where we go. It's not like Michigan, or it is like Michigan in this way. And it's just really a good way to kind of figure out what are people thinking and asking for, maybe that doesn't exist, that we can provide in the marketplace, or how we might be able to do something better or more unique. You can even use those pages to, ask questions of these folks to get some information and feedback about maybe an idea that you have. So we have tried to take in a market-driven approach by identifying a need that we can fulfill and then trying to identify a target audience. The third thing we need to do is try to determine whether a profitable market may even exist. So we need to take a look to determine if there's an adequate market size and potential share out there that will allow us to meet our goals. And are we able to produce at a cost low enough and sell at a high price high enough to generate a profit, and enough profit to also meet our goals? You know, sometimes we might think of a product to go out there, but there's just not enough people, or those people are not going to buy enough of that product to make it worth our while, or we would have to, you know, do so much work to reach that amount of people that it's just not feasible to do it. Other times we might be able to produce something, but the cost of that production is so high that people are never going to pay enough, or not enough people are going to pay enough to really generate a profit. And so we'll need to go back to the drawing board at that time. And we want to do that now, before you've invested too much time and money into a product, so you don't lose a lot in the process. We want to be able to fix our problems here as we develop a plan, rather than later on. So we might look at census data again to look at the population around us and the income around us. Their Bureau of Labor Statistics has some expenditure data that can be helpful. Also some industry studies, and then we're just going to have to get out the pencil and calculator, or the Excel spreadsheet, and run some numbers. So some examples, we have a new Census of Agriculture data from 2017 that was released this spring. So I pulled some things related to agritourism out, and we have numbers for the number of farms in Tennessee actually increased about 5%. It's interesting to look at the states around us. All but 2 states actually decreased in the number of farms doing agritourism. Kentucky stayed the same and Virginia went up, but all the other states actually decreased in the number of farms offering agritourism and recreational sales. Tennessee's value of sales went up 22% for agritourism. That's a little lower than the national average, and all but Alabama around us actually went up as well. So agritourism sales, it was a good year in 2017 for agritourism sales. Average sales per farm also went up in Tennessee as well, and all the surrounding states. If we look at agritourism farms by receipts category, there's categories of $1 to $999. Actually, the number of farms in that category went down 33%, but those making between $1,000 and $5,000 went up almost 40%, and the other categories above that also went up. So hopefully we had some farms that were growing in agritourism and earning more sales in 2017 than we did in 2012. So we can kind of see that the agritourism seems to be strong in the state and continuing to grow. We can also look at annual expenditures by region of residence. So this is for the South in 2017 from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So on average, people spent $54,000 in the year, and of that, they spent about 5.2% of that, $2,800 on entertainment, and $610 on fees and admissions. So that gives us a little bit of an idea. What are people spending on entertainment a year? How can we carve out a slice of that? You know, the bigger that piece of pie, maybe the more chance that we can carve out a slice of that for ourselves. So our final part of taking a market-driven approach is to take everything that we've learned about our target market and the market in general, and figure out how we're going to reach that target market. We're going to develop our marketing strategies for that product, positioning, price, place, promotion, and people service component that we mentioned earlier. But we can't really effectively develop these marketing strategies without doing all of that homework ahead of time. We really want to get an idea of who our target audience is, how they think, and what they value so we can most effectively reach them. So our marketing strategies are also going to differ depending on our target market. We're going to market to that teacher much differently than we're going to market to the teenagers or the young adults, or might be a lot different than we're going to market to that bride or perhaps a senior citizen or a family. So we really need to take into account who our target market is. Again, marketing is all about understanding our target consumers and developing strategies specifically to reach them. All of our marketing strategies should be consistent with your resources, mission, and goals that you started out assessing, and your target audience and their values. So as you're developing your strategies, you can go back and kind of double check and say, okay, is this consistent with who we are as a farm and a business and our goals? Will it help us accomplish our goals? And will it help us reach our target audience, and does it speak to their values? And if either one of those is not a yes, then we need to go back to the drawing board. So we're going to develop our marketing strategies based on those customer values. So from our customer benefit, we're going to develop our product and positioning. From our customer cost, what they're willing to pay, we're going to inform the making of our price. Related to their convenience, we're going to determine where we're going to put our products so that they can purchase them. And related to their communication needs, we're going to develop our promotion strategies. So product, related to that customer benefit, we want to make sure that we remember what does the customer need or want, try to figure out how we can be unique or better, and think about aspects of our products that we can relate to that customer need. What kind of packaging would be helpful to help them use the product easily and be enticing to them? What information do they need on the label that would be helpful to them in making a purchase decision or using that product? What kind of service do they need associated with producing and using that product? And what kind of experience would be beneficial, if any, to help them to develop some loyalty to our product and our brand? As far as customer benefit, we also want to think about the product positioning, and that's really the image that we want to develop in consumers' minds, or the message we want to portray to them to entice them to purchase this product. So we want to consider unique selling proposition in that and be consistent. So a lot of times people will say, I have the very best product on the market and the lowest price. Well, that's kind of inconsistent, because people are really used to paying for quality. And so we don't want to confuse people by offering the lowest price. They might think that we're not being all that transparent with them, or maybe it's not as high a quality as we are making it out to be. As far as place or distribution for our marketing strategy there, we want to think about where our customers are likely to access that product. Are they folks who are going to go to the farmer's market every Saturday morning? Are they more interested in driving out to the farm and purchasing it right directly from you on the farm? Are they going to stop at a roadside stand? Are they wanting you to ship it to their door or deliver it to their door? Or are they going to find it somewhere else, maybe in a local grocery store? So we need to figure out where they're going to be looking for your product and put it there. Also related to place and distribution, we want to think about what days and hours are they available. Are they working mom, so that Monday through Friday 8 to 5 they are tied up at work, and Saturday morning they're at soccer games. So where and when are you going to be able to make this available? Make your merchandising aesthetically pleasing and enticing, and be able to provide some customer comforts, especially if people are coming out to the farm. Restroom facilities, shade, water, whatever it is that is going to help people have a good time and meet their physical needs while at your operation. Pricing is directly related to the willingness to pay of customers, but not only that. Pricing is part science and part art, and we have to consider lots of factors, including your costs of production and marketing, supply and demand in the marketplace, competition pricing, the positioning of the product that we visited about earlier, the product and service quality that you have available, and what kind of is there any sort of experience offered with that? So customer willingness to pay is really important, because if they won't pay as much as you're asking, you're in trouble. But we also have to consider these other aspects to setting a price as well. Promotion is the marketing strategy related to customer communication. So how will those customers learn about your product and services? Is it word of mouth? And maybe word of mouth these days through social media? What kind of publicity, public relations would be helpful? Sampling products is often helpful if you can get product in front of people who are interested in trying it. Perhaps some discounting, you want to be really careful with that. Certainly maybe some advertising in different ways. So lots of different options for promotion strategies, depending on who your target audience is and where they're looking. So promotion must please connect with the state promotion programs. The Pick Tennessee Products has a great opportunity to get on their website and their mobile app, use their signage and their logos with their approval when you sign up. Also, unless you are marketing to a very unique population these days, if you aren't on the web, you aren't. So we need to be considering a website or web presence. Pick Tennessee Products program can get you at least a minimal web presence there. Some social media, and developing an email list of customers as you build your customer base. Be sure not to put all your eggs in one basket in marketing, and develop a promotion budget, because you will need to likely spend some money on promotion. You want to budget that out and be sure to track that. That budget should be based on your expected sales and the cost of your marketing activities. And those budgets are often between 5 to 10% of your sales. Of course, this changes over the life cycle of your product. If you have 0 sales now, it's going to be more than 5 to 10% of your sales. You're going to have to spend some money on marketing to get started. And as you grow your business, it may be less than that. We have a lot of marketing resources available on our website. Anything from a publication to help you choose the direct marketing channel that might work best for you. Publications on pick your own operations and CSAs, on pricing and marketing in general, marketing on the web, and handling complaints and poor reviews on social media, creating signage that sells. Just an example of some of the resources we have available related to marketing as you develop a marketing plan and implement that plan through your marketing strategies. So I hope you'll take time to check out our website for additional resources as well. So today has kind of been a fast and furious time together as we looked at 2 topics. Setting those goals. Remember how important it is for the very small percentage of us that set and written goals. We are 30 times more successful than people who are not. And we want to be sure that those SMART goals are are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. And then when we look at marketing, that really at the core of marketing success is remembering that our target customers are at the center of that. We need to understand them and to develop our strategies to reach them and meet their values. We want to take a market-driven approach by determining if there's a need or want that our business can fulfill, identifying that target market and really understanding who they are, crunching some numbers and determining if we think a profitable market may even exist, and then if so, developing strategies that will reach the target customer values. So that is what I have for you today about goal setting and marketing, and I hope that you will start by scratching down some written goals, maybe based on what you learned here, maybe some next steps that you want to take, and that you will really spend some time thinking about marketing and how to take a market-driven approach and develop a plan for your marketing to meet your customer needs. I'll be looking at the chat box to see if there's any questions here. If you have questions later, feel free to send me an email. The email address is on the slide there. That's usually the easiest way to reach me. Sometimes you can reach me by phone, but in and out a lot.
Thank you, Megan, for sharing this important information with us. I don't see any questions in the chat box, but we'll wait another minute or two to see if anyone has one. We hope everyone will join us next month when we learn about farm safety and stress management. And we appreciate you being with us. We ask once again if you'll complete the brief online evaluation at the link that I've listed there. We would appreciate that. I do see one question there for you, Megan.
Yes, the question is, would I have a different strategy if my target customer is other businesses, not individual consumers? So your specific strategies would of course be different because you're targeting your specific target market, which is other businesses. But the method of going about figuring out who those businesses are and understanding what their values are and developing marketing strategies to reach them would be the same. So you use the same kind of strategy of taking a market-driven approach, just your target audience is other businesses. So you would be researching who they are and what they value and how you would communicate with them. The population census does not have data about businesses. But there may be some other data out there for that. There is some industry data depending upon what you're looking for. Great questions, Nancy. Thank you. One example, Nancy, would be the Census of Agriculture that has data about farm businesses. And if you're looking at other businesses, we would have to look and see what might be collected.
Okay, I don't see any other questions, so thank you again for all of you for joining us today. And if you have any more questions, please, about today's webinar, please contact Megan at the contact information she has on the slide. So thank you once again. Have a good day.